What is up and welcome to Maps on the Map and welcome to my Rome tour guide. In this video we're going to be checking out the things to do, the best things to see, and of course there's going to be some food spots sprinkled throughout, so let's get on with the tour.
Rome is the definition of beauty, a city packed full of culture and class, and there is just so much to experience. It's got it all from preserved ancient architecture, lifelike sculptures and cobbled roads, leading to history around every corner, to the things we all know and love, including some of the best cuisine on the planet. If you're looking for a city break and can spare a few days to be transported back in time, Rome has to be on your travel bucket list, and this top 10 list is gonna show you why. Honestly, Rome is one of those places that is just so pleasing to the eye, and coming in at number 10 is something you literally can't miss. Because it's huge, it's the Victor Emmanuel II National Monument. I kind of stumbled across this by accident whilst exploring Rome, which is kind of crazy because it's so big. Also known as the Altar of the Fatherland, it was built in honour of the first king of a unified Italy, Victor Emmanuel II, now housing the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, a monument commemorating all of the unidentified soldiers who lost their lives in war, marked by an eternal flame. For those that are interested, for €17 per adult, this is going to grant you access to a panoramic terrace for stunning views of Rome, as well as a museum. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't do this as my time was limited, and if you stick around later in the video, I'll be showing you where some of the most insane views in Rome are. Now one thing that every European city break needs is a pop-in square. You know, an area with bars, restaurants, hustle and bustle, all contained within four corners, and Rome is no exception. At number 9, we've got Piazza del Popolo, aka the People's Square, which is more of a circle than a square, but we'll let that slide.
Where are we going?
To Piazza del Popolo.
And what's there?
That's another square, and it's also near Spanish Steps.
Spanish Steps.
And the Spanish Square.
So Mrs. on the Map is the Maps on the Map tour guide. She plans all the things to do and she's pretty good at it. And I plan the food because I like to eat. So this is one of Rome's other squares, and there's several squares which are basically chill out zones with water fountains, statues and just a nice vibe with restaurants and bars scattered throughout.
In the centre of the Piazza del Popolo is an ancient Egyptian obelisk. Now you're probably thinking, Mams, this is Italy, what are you chatting about? Well, I've done my research, and the Egyptian obelisk was brought to Rome by Emperor Augustus. An 18-minute walk from Piazza del Popolo, you're going to come across number 8 on our list, another square in a slightly more central location, Piazza Navona. Now this square oozes history, having been built on the site of an ancient stadium dating back over 2,000 years ago, which is just insane. The shape of the square retaining the outline of the stadium. At this square, you're going to find some stunning fountains, street performers, loads of bars and restaurants, as well as a daily market selling local goods and souvenirs. You're probably starting to see a theme here, with a lot of highlights of this incredible city being the architecture, meaning you can actually enjoy Rome without spending a lot of money on activities. At number 7, we've got a double whammy with the Spanish Steps and the Piazza di Spagna. 135 of the so-called Spanish Steps join Piazza di Spagna to another square at the top. At this point, we've done a lot of steps, so this is the perfect place to take a break, do some window shopping, or if you fancy balling out, some real shopping, as this is where you'll find Via dei Condotti, the Oxford Street or Fifth Avenue of Rome, lined with luxury brands. Or why not grab an Italian coffee or a slice of pizza, sit on the Spanish Steps and take it all in. Energy levels replenished and maybe your bank balance diminished after doing some shopping, it's time to hit up number 6 on this top 10 list. And we've got a glorious structure, a piece of history perfectly preserved, the Pantheon. Originally built as a temple for the Roman gods, it's now one of the many churches in Rome. Now get this, the dome of the Pantheon is the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. Now for those of you like, cool story bro, no, this is special as it was built between 118 and 125 AD. To build a structure at that time is an architectural madness. Inside the Pantheon is as glorious as the outside, but the Pantheon at night is a sight to behold. Before we come on to number 5, I've got a cheeky little bonus for you guys, a little golden nugget in the form of the San Ignacio di Loyola. Famous for its mirror ceiling, the perfect picture spot as you look into the mirror to see a literal work of art on the ceiling. Now this artwork is special, painted by Andrea Pozzo in the 17th century. Funds to build a dome were lacking, so Andrea created an optical illusion to paint the ceiling so that it looks like a dome. Absolutely genius. Right, back to the list, and things are starting to get interesting as we're now onto my top 5 with one of the most famous fountains in the world, Trevi Fountain. Coming in at a staggering 26 meters high and 49 meters wide, it's the largest fountain in Rome, depicting Oceanus, the god of water, in all of his glory. Rumour has it that if you toss a coin over your shoulder into the fountain, this will guarantee that you return to Rome. But I had no coins, so that's just great. On the daily, the Trevi Fountain brings in about 3,000 euros a day. A bit of quick maths means that that's over 1 million euros a year. Now if you're thinking, Mamps, this is the fountain of all fountains, why is it ranked number 5? Well, I guess it's kind of my own fault, but it was hella busy, like rammed, so the pictures and videos you see online aren't actually an accurate representation unless you rock up at like 5 AM, and well, I like my sleep way too much. Now my friends, if you know me by now, you know I'm all about that food life, and you cannot come to Rome without trying authentic Roman cuisine. Undoubtedly, some of the best cuisine in the world is in Rome, with 2 types of pizza famous in the capital. The first being pizza tonda, a more formal sit-down affair, the pizza topped with the freshest ingredients and a delicately crispy base, and then there's pizza al taglio, street-style pizza served by the slice. And how can I forget the freshly made pasta, the most delicious tiramisu you will ever taste, and the best gelato on planet Earth. I'd highly recommend checking out the neighbourhood of Trastevere, known for its narrow cobbled streets, nightlife and food culture. I'd say it's a bit out of the way if you're travelling on foot, but was worth the taxi ride if you want to see a different side of Rome and get some good food whilst you're at it. If you want to know more about Rome's food scene, check out my Rome food guide as we go exploring the eternal city for its best eats. Oh, things are getting interesting as we're now on to the top 3 things to do in Rome, and coming in the 3rd spot is going to be Palatine Hill and the Roman Forum. These are kind of like 2 separate sites, but they're connected to each other by like a 1-minute walk, hence why I've grouped them. Back in the day, the Roman Forum was the epicenter of public life in Rome. Now a collection of ancient ruins, walking through the Forum is an incredible experience, walking the walk of the Romans before us, stepping back in time to experience history in its purest form. Surrounded by huge structures and statues, it's a sight to behold. A short walk from the Forum is Palatine Hill. According to the history books, the location where the first king, King Romulus, founded Rome. I would remember earlier in the video I said I'd be telling you where to go for some of the best views in Rome. Well, this is it. After walking through a lush garden, your eyes are blessed with cityscape views, including a bird's eye view of the Roman Forum, as well as views of number 2 on my list, the Colosseum. I cannot imagine a things to do video on Rome without mentioning the Colosseum, the largest amphitheatre ever built, housing an audience of 80,000 people entertained by the gladiators fighting for survival against each other and nature's beasts. Being a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the 7 wonders of the world, it is an utter spectacle and has to be on any traveller's bucket list. Of course, entry to the Colosseum is going to come at a cost, and there are so many different tours available with differing levels of access and optional extras. I always worry that I'll buy a ticket from like a dodgy website or the ticket will be invalid, and I was going to recommend that you get the tickets from the same place I did, a site called Co-op Culture, but they're no longer the official seller. Annoyingly, it isn't that clear online who is the official seller of tickets, and so if I was booking again, I'd go through Get Your Guide. They've never let me down and I know they're legit. My official ticket cost 18 euros per person, and that granted me access to the Roman Forum, Palatine Hill and the Colosseum, and that was for the most basic ticket, so like entrance only. It didn't include things like audio tours or access to the underground and arena floors of the Colosseum, but I was cool with that. So if you want to do what I did, 18 euros is the target. Down in the description I've put a Get Your Guide affiliate link to the ticket I'd buy if I was going again, so be sure to check it out. This will give you the standard Get Your Guide price, but supports me to continue to make content like this and hopefully level up my content in the future. And on that note, if you're feeling generous and enjoying the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more. And that brings us nicely on to the number one thing to do if you're visiting Rome. For those of you that have been with me since the start of the video, you're in for a treat. And for those of you that skipped to number one, you're in the right place. The number one thing to do in Rome is technically not even in Rome, which is kind of deep if you think about it. Man's made a top 10 list of the things to do in Rome, and number one ain't even in Rome. The disrespect. At number one, we've got Vatican City, the smallest independent state in the world. And what I mean by that is that it's the smallest country in the world. Its location being that it's surrounded by Rome. Technically it's kind of in Rome, but not in Rome. It's complicated. Home to the Pope, the leader of the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican is a place that is as peaceful as it is beautiful. I honestly got sucked into the aura and beauty of this place, my neck aching after looking up at pristine architecture and marvels of artistry. So there are 3 key sites in the Vatican that you're not going to want to miss. First up, you've got the Vatican Museum, housing masterpieces in the form of paintings, murals and sculptures. Then you've got the Sistine Chapel, known across the globe as arguably Michelangelo's most mesmerising work. Painted between 1508 and 1512, it brings to life 9 scenes from the Book of Genesis, including the creation of Adam, one of the most famous paintings in the world. It's a marvel to behold, and this one you've really got to see in person to appreciate it. It's also important to note that no pictures or videos are allowed in the Sistine Chapel, so please respect that. And finally, you've got St. Peter's Basilica, one of the largest churches in the world. It's simply breathtaking, adorned with gold accents, marble floors and pillars, paintings and sculptures, and that's just on the inside. Take a step outside onto St. Peter's Square and you'll be able to see that the exterior of St. Peter's Basilica is as incredible on the outside as it is on the inside. The dome designed by man like Michelangelo himself. The visit to the Vatican is going to take about half a day, so if you're planning an itinerary, be sure to factor that in. I visit the Colosseum, Roman Forum and Palatine Hill in the morning, and then in the afternoon headed to Vatican City, and it didn't feel too rushed, so you can definitely do it all in a day. As for entrance to the Vatican, you're going to need tickets. I used Get Your Guide and paid £48.50 or $62 per person. This ticket features fast track access, which means no queuing, and also comes with a tour guide and headphones, meaning that you can hear the guide amongst the crowds and noise, which was a really fun experience. Also, it's important to note that this is a religious site, so to dress modestly with no shorts, sleeveless shirts or short skirts allowed. I've put an affiliate link in the description below should you want to do the same tour that I did. Now before we wrap things up and roll the outro, some of you might be wondering where to stay in Rome, and I just thought it'd be helpful to talk about my experience. I decided to book an Airbnb as hotel prices were through the roof. Of course, Airbnb experiences differ, but mine was so much fun and had me feeling like a local, so I cannot recommend it enough. The location was fantastic too, slap bang in between the Colosseum and Trevi Fountain, which meant that we were a short walk from everything. So let's take a quick look at the Airbnb.
Right, so this is the Airbnb that we stayed in, and it's actually a pretty sick Airbnb. It was highly reviewed on Airbnb. You can probably notice by my voice, I've got a bit of a cold. The hosts are incredible. You can message them anytime and they're happy to help. They talk you through Rome, through the restaurants, the sites, the best way to get around. So let's show you around this Airbnb. And you'll see it's a pretty big place. And just for the two of us, it was plenty of space. And it was actually a lot cheaper than the hotels, which is why we went for it. And it's got these Rome vibes. There's Italian vibes, as you'll see. Okay, so this is the living area. You got a nice dining table there. If you follow me over here, you've got a kitchen, coffee machine, sink, stove, and then going down here, it's all really quirky. Nice cool design. Set of stairs going up there, then through here. There's one bathroom here, which is quite nicely decorated. Toilet, sink, and then a big shower. And then if you follow me this way, this is where you control your temperature. And then up these stairs. It's a bit of a crickety stairs. And up here, now this door doesn't lead really to anywhere. One thing that I did notice about this Airbnb is that the walls are quite thin, so you can actually hear other flats or apartments. And one night, we actually thought a group of people came into the downstairs bit of the Airbnb, and mans were shook. Me and Mrs. on the Map were ready to throw hands, but then it just turns out it's thin walls. But yeah, that's the only thing that we noticed, and it can kind of wake you up, and you're like, damn, is there someone intruding the property? But nah, it was all good. Then here, you've got another upstairs shower room, toilet, butt washer, and then this is the main bedroom. Well, there's only one bedroom. And weirdly, you got this quirky little thing, kind of like a little set of steps up to a little chill out area. I don't know whether it's a bed for another person or whether it's just a chill out zone. The view is not much. And then this is the bed with a suitcase on top because we're getting ready to leave. And that's the vibes. So yeah, a pretty cool Airbnb if you ask me. Like I said, good price, good location. That's what you want when you're in a city for a few days.
This Airbnb cost me £120 or about $150 per night, which I thought was really good for a spacious Airbnb in a great location with a lovely host. I've put a link to the Airbnb in the description should you fancy booking it yourself. And that concludes my top 10 list of the must-dos in Rome, Italy, all of which is easily achievable in a weekend. If you have any questions about my trip to Rome, then feel free to leave a comment below or DM me on Instagram and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, then please do leave a like and of course support the channel by subscribing for more. As always, it's been a pleasure.
Till next time, peace.